He's an artist without arms. He rides bicycles. He plays football and he's even a coach. He does a lot more activities, yet he was born different.
Mimi jina yangu ni Harun Maura.
He was born without some of his body limbs, but this does not stop him from doing most of the activities. He comes from a poor family. Their parents produced 9 children and he was the 8th child. He was lucky having born in such a big family with many children. Most of them cared and did whatever he needed since childhood. He never realized he was disabled until he reached 10 years. That was when he was in primary. He started noticing that he was born different. He realized that there are some of the body parts he never had. At first, he did not think about this as he was even younger. He never cared, but finding himself in class as the only pupil who cannot easily hold a pen and write showed there was a problem. Plus other classmates who always came around asking a lot of questions. They asked a lot. Some cared and felt empathy for the man who was a little boy by then. Others never cared at all. All they did was trolling, bullying and making fun of the boy. They said he's useless, that even by when he studied as hard as he can, he will never make it in life due to this disability. Hearing all what people said and taking close looks at other people, he knew he missed some body limbs and started asking himself why he was born like this. He would spend a lot of time crying. He was almost getting depressed. But having other siblings who encouraged and supported Maura, he slowly by slowly developed a sense of self-trust and self-belief. He was taught by his mother that he can be whatever he wants to be and was reminded that disability is not inability. He studied and completed his high school studies, but says it was one of the greatest life achievements. The school were located very far, plus being born in a family that had many children to take care of. Paying school fees was a big problem, but with determination and working hard, he finally completed his studies. It was time for the man to start working and earn some money, but now the disability was going to be another barrier. Whenever he deposited, he was never hired at all because of having the disability. He gathered some money and then thought of a small business idea.
Nikaanza kujitegemea. Maisha ilikuwa ngumu kwa wakati huo. Nilianza biashara kidogo ya kuuza matunda.
And that was selling some fruits like oranges, bananas, pineapples, passion fruits and many more. He would go down in the village and buy fruits at a low price, then resell them at a bit higher price, so as to get profit. He was happy that at least he was self-reliant. He was then known for fruits in the village and people started calling him different names like the man of fruits and so on. By then, everything was going well and the business was so promising that one could say that in few days he would become a millionaire. He enjoyed the business for a few months and then the business collapsed. He failed to get the market.
Na ikaenda hivyo ikakosa soko.
He would spend time in the village looking for fresh fruits, and by when he returned, looking for markets was another big and bigger challenge that contributed to the collapse of the business. As you know, fruits are fragile. If there is no market, you cannot keep them for days. They start rotting, and for someone who had no fridge, that was a loss.
Pia hiyo ikakosa soko, nikaona nanunua matunda zinaharibika. Ndio nikakumbuka niko na talent. Ndio sasa mambo ya art ikanikujia kwa akili.
This time he was seeing all doors shut and started losing hope. He had invested all energy in selling fruits, but it still was not working out for him. As experts say, we must allow ourselves to be adorned by lessons derived through hardships and challenges. How we cope with these everyday challenges and how troubled we become is purely down the way we think about the situation. He took time and sat down, thought of his future, asking himself what else he can do, and of course there are a lot of activities he could not think about due to his disability. As he almost lost hope and thought he was useless, he remembered something that was going to shape the rest of his life on this planet. Having started drawing at his young age, maybe he had underestimated his talent. He now focused on making different portraits. Starting, of course, he started by making his own portrait. And in order to know whether he was doing it right, or else to know if people would love what he does, he used the social media platform, and that was Facebook.
Nilianza na kujichora mimi. Wacha yenye uliona. Ingine tu nilichora kwa karatasi. Nikapost Facebook. Watu wakaniambia wako sawa. Nikaendelea hivyo kuchora, nikachora Mandela bado kwa karatasi. Ikatokea vizuri kuliko yangu.
He got a lot of comments from people appreciating his work, and this is what he does for a living. He would like to join a certain institution that can teach him more skills so as to perfect his passion, since all he does comes from the head without any additional skills.
Mimi naona hapa kwa art. Nikiongeza ujuzi kidogo, sijaiongeza, hiyo ni ujuzi yangu tu yenye nakuanga nayo. Najua naweza kuwa na picha perfect. Alafu pia marketing inakuwaga shida. Marketing pia ni shida.
He knows that soon or later he'll be earning a lot from his portrait, but the problem remains the market. After finishing his portrait, he faces the same old problem of having no market. Many people around his village are not used to buying such artistic portraits, but says soon or later people will be buying his products. He does all sorts of activities and sports despite not having some of his body limbs. He plays football and he's even a coach. He is in a senior team of his village. Since his childhood, he had a dream of becoming a top football player. He tried his best but was not lucky enough to be the best player he dreamt of. He's a fan of one of the best European teams like Manchester United and Man City. Whenever he gets time, he joins these fellow neighbors and the rest is kicking it till sunset. To him, this means a lot. He appreciates the sportsmanship of his fellow players, for they never play poorly against him. Maura has a message to people who are disabled and are afraid of coming out and work. He says he had the same fear but learned to overcome his fears, hence reminding them that disability is not inability.
Nikianza na wenye wako na disability. Move ya kwanza inakuanga ni unajikubali tu. Juu hakuna venye mimi nitachange. Na mtu amekuwa hivyo kutoka akiwa kitambo. So in most cases anawezanga kujifanyia mambo yake. Kanga unajipea moyo, hiyo kitu kidogo yenye unaweza kujifanyia. Tumia hiyo kuonyesha community ni maumbile tu yenye iko different. Unaweza fanya anything na unaweza pia kujisimamia.
He also takes time and blames people who bully and disrespect people with disabilities. He tells them to respect and treat them as normal people.
Mimi nasemanga kuelewa, understand to disability, hiyo ndio tu sometimes inakuanga na shida. Ukishaelewa mtu mwenye ako na disability, unampea easier time ya kuishi maisha yake, na hata kuwa anaona ni kama ako na shida, atakuwa tu yeye anaona ako sawa kwa everything, in which anakuanga ako sawa tu ni venye anafanya. I want to challenge you today to get out of your comfort zone. You have so much incredible potential on the inside.
God has put gifts and talents in you that you probably don't know anything about. The biggest challenge you have is to challenge your own self-doubt and your laziness. It's your self-doubt and your laziness that defines and limit who you are. Thank you for watching. I'm Elijah and this is Afrimax English. Remember to subscribe.